Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
We're
Hi, everyone.
early.
We're dorks, and we're here to paint
No,
miniatures.
no.
We're
There are no
nerds.
dorks here. There are only nerds.
Okay, excuse me. Pardon me. Phoenix Mercer, you're fired. Only nerds here. And there's no E in that nerds either. Only NRDs?
Yes. Very important distinction.
Yeah, like super duper important. If you're missing it, then you're missing the whole thing. And now I'm going to shut up and paint. Because I'm saying weird stuff. Alrighty. So, how do we want to do this? Where did I put the... That's where it is. Because I dropped it yesterday like a goober.
You never had orientation and never paid me. How can you be fired?
We make the rules
He
here.
just did it.
Well, we've done that before.
He just did it.
Yep, I just did it.
We did that not so long ago.
You don't have to make it to a paycheck to get fired.
That is correct.
That is true.
You don't even have to show
Technically,
up for a
they
day
weren't
of work
fired.
to be fired.
They weren't fired. They were unhired.
Unhired.
Yeah.
There's probably a very legal distinguishing factor there.
Oh, is that actually like a specific thing that happens?
Well,
You're
because what I've
unhired?
heard
happened to
after
us.
researching it is that there are a lot of people who go in, do the interview, get the job, solicit the job,
Fill
and then
out all
have
the paperwork.
been thinking that they can then file unemployment if they just never show up,
Oh, what?
and you can them.
I don't think that that's the case.
I read about it.
Ugh, that's just.
I mean, they're stupid. You can't do it.
Yeah.
So it was like there's been a rash of people because
Big
the
waste of
unemployment
time.
office was talking about there's been all these people doing this that they don't understand that's not how that works.
There are also people who think that you can file unemployment when you quit, and you can't.
No. You cannot. That is not how that works.
Turns out if you resign,
Not how that.
not how that works. Unless it's a forced resignation.
I feel like
How do
that
they
would
distinguish?
require some.
Your
some
job,
legal
if your job
interventions.
comes to you and says we will take your resignation, please hand it in by Tuesday.
so that you can.
That's
leave
basically
with
the same as
dignity
being
rather than
fired.
getting fired.
Yeah. But is there like a specific thing where they...
They're trying to avoid.
Or do they just put it as like, this person was let go?
No, they'd like to put it in your file that you resigned,
Right, but they
so
have
that they
to...
don't have to pay you any severance or whatever. They can just be like,
Do they not submit any information to the government stating...
they'll say that you
terms.
resigned. And then you can say, but it was forced. They asked me
you
for my
can say that.
resignation.
Okay, got it. I understand now. I misunderstood.
You don't listen to me.
I would think that would be
it's a little
quite
confusing.
an extensive process to prove that.
I imagine so.
Yeah.
Because they would actually have to communicate with your previous employer, right? And your previous employer.
There it is. There's Megalodon Jaws with that really, really dark blue that I can't read. Let's see how long it lasts.
Hold up, Megalodon.
Did you say hola?
Hola.
Jason,
Holla.
Jason using a web palette? Blink twice if you're being held against your will.
Don't you dare blink.
I did it twice. They told me,
What's
and
the,
I'm being held
what's
against
the
my will.
reasoning for this?
Huh?
What's the reasoning for this?
Well, because I have no idea what I'm doing color scheme wise, but I'm using a limited palette. So when I only have like 3 or 4 colors that I have to make everything from, it just makes more sense. I always talk about how a wet palette is really good if you're doing extended mixes that you need to use for a long time, which I don't normally do, right? Because I'll at most during the course of painting a model, I'll mix 2 colors together, sometimes 3, but only for brief mixes.
Mm-hmm.
But here, everything has to be a mix of these like 5 colors.
Yeah.
And so if I put the 5 colors on the palette, which I only have 1 right now, but if I put the 5 colors on the palette, now I can use all of those in various ways because I'm having to mix them all in different combos to get the colors across the model. So, as opposed to only having to worry about, if I'm mixing Payne's gray and faded blue for a thing, I can continue to make that mix very easily on the dry palette. But if I needed to mix Payne gray with red and then yellow and then blue and for all the different parts of the model, then I need to have that Payne's gray stay more available.
Gotcha.
So
Megalodon, as far as I know, nobody has told me we've gotten them.
we have not received anything from Asmodee.
No, we have not.
Megalodon, I have to say, and I have no idea if you have any knowledge or can release any info about it, but I am excited about the thing I saw it was in my inbox or on my feed today about them doing a Song of Ice and Fire skirmish game.
Oh, really?
I will partake in a skirmish game.
Oh. That sounds awesome, actually.
Song Tactics?
Song Tactics, you got it. Song of Ice and Fire Tactics. It's a little fewer models.
Does it use the existing range?
I don't know. It made it look like it did, but it may also add new models for it.
Okay.
I would assume they'll continue to broaden the range for both, but I don't know.
Yeah, that makes sense.
They didn't have a lot of info. It just said tactics based. It was Dark Sword Miniatures that I saw that released it because they have the license, right? So they share the license with Cool Mini or Not for the Song of Ice and Fire stuff.
Ooh, good hair.
The only thing that you can confirm is that all pre-existing minis can be used for both games.
Awesome. Avian, what's going on?
There will be new models. Okay.
Law Dog says we're on our way to bust you out. I love you guys. You take care of me. You protect me from the forces of evil, of which they are afoot.
Avian, it is the time. 2 days in a row. It's been time.
Yeah, look at this. We're getting Avian on time. This is awesome.
Megalodon, you make it feel bad because we don't release products as fast as you guys do. We'll send you some fluorescence later this month. How about that? You get 6 new colors.
Yeah.
And some not oil wash.
I'm sure it probably wouldn't hate that. I'm mixing up some coal black.
Olive Hoosier said, I learned something today.
Yep.
A squirrel can chew through a wire in your car that can cause it to misfire.
One of my friends had
Did you read that in a book?
A little a nest of rats in her car. And didn't know about it, and they chewed through a whole bunch of stuff.
I had a car that was called a Mitsubishi Starion. It was one of the last of the rear-wheel drive Japanese sports cars, right? It was like a Toyota Supra, Mitsubishi Starion, Nissan 300 ZX, right? And it was not anywhere on the level of the 300 ZX or the Supra necessarily as far as a supercar, but it was a fun little car. It was a turbocharged rear-wheel drive sports car. I bought it off a friend years ago. Then I put it in the garage when I had my first company because I was driving the company van and all that, and it was just not really the car to like go to job sites and stuff like that on. And so I had owned it in Connecticut where it got snowed into the garage because definitely not taking a rear-wheel drive high horsepower car out in a blizzard.
What?
And came back down to Texas, put it in the garage, and started driving the company van. And then one day I was like, I think it was like we hired our first field technician who had to also go out in the field and didn't have a car. And so I was like, well, you can use the company van and I'll go back and drive my car. And so I went back and took it out of the garage and pushed it because the battery's dead and everything. So of course I push it out of this old ancient barn garage, into the driveway, get a new battery for it, hook up the new battery, go inside, turn the key, it all lights up, and I noticed the smell in the cab of the car is atrocious.
Oh, no.
And sure enough, there was like a rat had gotten into the car and into the glove box and given birth, and the whole family died in my glove box.
Yeah.
It was like rat gelatin in my glove box.
Game Delay said, Happy Tuesday. Glad I got here in time for Monument Hobbies Car Talk. I have ridden in several cars and am very knowledgeable.
I doubt that.
I am as well. Been a passenger for my whole life. I wish picking up my boys from school and it was bugging out, took it to the shop, and today they called, and that's what happened. Hopefully they get it fixed quick. Family of 5 with one car equals lots of trips for everyone. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds complicated.
Oh, Avian said I've learned that Japanese
Click and clack.
cars,
Oh my god.
Japanese cars use a form of soy-based wiring covers. This brings the squirrels into the yard and the car. The soy-based covers bring the squirrels to the yard. That was not good.
That was not good. Nice. I appreciate not holding back there, Jen. Just let him have it.
Wife had a horrible smell in her car. Didn't notice the dog threw up in her back seat. She actually thought I farted for like an hour before I found the real culprit.
Man, this like bit of cloth covering all the naughty bits is a gigantic nightmare to paint.
It's what?
It's a nightmare to paint.
Oh.
Because there's like little folds that are like deep inside the model that you can't really see super well. But you can kind of...
Jason and Jordan do have very decent laughs, not quite at the infection level of click and clack, but then again, nobody has laughs like those two. I don't know click and clack.
The car guys. Car talk guys. From like NPR, Click and Clack.
Oh.
Never heard of them?
Mm-mm.
I have not heard of these people. They don't exist.
Have you ever heard of a
Don't
prairie
spend
home
a whole lot of
companion?
time listening to car shows.
A furry
on radio.
home companion?
A prairie home
Yeah, I've
companion.
heard of Prairie Home Companion.
No, I have not.
You've not heard of it, Jen?
That's not click and clack.
No, but it's same era.
Oh yeah, that's he's from Minnesota.
Yep.
Minnesota.
Get audio of the car talk guys just laughing. It's amazing. Is car talk the one with crazy scenarios?
My grandmother, to give you an idea, my grandmother used to listen to Car Talk, not for any of the info, just because they were fun to listen to.
Oh really?
Yeah. But she would then sit down at the dinner or breakfast table with me and give me obscure car data. Because some of it stuck. So she was just knowledgeable enough to be dangerous.
Yeah.
I was like, Gran, that's not how that works. I get you would like to be a mechanic.
But they said so on car talk.
You keep having to teach your grandmother that, yes, but you need to understand the context, Gran.
When you know just enough information to get yourself into trouble.
She would have never said that to anybody outside of the breakfast table, though, so it wasn't like she was getting in trouble.
It shows shipped in their system. I don't see tracking, but keep an eye out over the next week. They ship from Minnesota.
You're going to say a bit of telephone?
How they sent it, like UPS or anything? Do you know that?
Avian says, I'm going to say a bit of telephone also was involved with Gran. Her name's just Gran, if you're talking to my mind. A bit of telephone? What are you talking about?
That, like, you hear something, and then you pass it on, and it's not quite the same when you pass it on. Like the game of telephone. You've never done that?
Uh-uh.
You get in a circle, and one person says a secret to someone, and then that person says it to the next one, and that person says it to the next one, and it goes all the way around, and then they compare and see how it changes.
Oh, interesting. Interesting. Wait a minute. Humans mess stuff up?
No.
I'm not buying into this.
Yeah.
Never.
I'm not buying into this.
They were a couple of the cars in the movie Cars, which I've never seen. But that seems fitting.
Hoosier says, great movie. Your wife and I's first date was to see that. Was to see Cars?
Oh, that's cute. Our UPS, if he's got deliveries, he usually drops them off when he has them. FedEx is, who knows?
Who knows? FedEx does what they
They
like.
do what they want. They all do what they want. He switched to a different palette for today.
I'm using a wet palette.
He's using a wet palette.
Yep.
Lots of people ask us about wet palettes, so we're always telling, even though Jordan uses one every day, for some reason
Not
People
enough.
seem to think I avoid them for some reason. I figure, what better time to show you?
It can be done.
It can be done. There are no tricks. Pro Acryl and a wet palette. I'm really doing it because I'm having to paint Mr. Dorf here.
Dorf.
And with a limited palette, only so many colors, I know I'm going to have to mix them all together in different ways, so having the wet palette makes that a little bit easier so that I can continue to keep them open a little bit longer while I figure out the colors, because I have no idea what colors I'm doing. I have less of a plan on this guy when I'm doing limited palette than I do in normal circumstances, and you guys have seen me paint normally. So.
Wait. There's a love song in the movie Cars. Is it a romance?
He's out to get the girl.
Their first date at their wedding reception, or first dance at their wedding reception, was the love song from the movie Cars to pay homage to the first date. That's so cute. Game Delay said, I have the odd satisfaction of having guessed correctly that Jen had never seen Cars. It's the small victories.
The small victories.
You are correct. Is it perhaps because of how you tell us that you avoid them? Why they think that you're against wet palettes? Megalodon said, thanks for the tips, Baby J. I will place a primer and brush order this weekend.
You got it.
First ornaments on the tree every year are Lightning and Sally. I assume those are characters.
Those are in fact vehicles.
Lightning McQueen.
McQueen, I knew that.
Yeah.
I've heard that. Sally, I don't know, but Monument Hobbies wet palette when? What? Is there something special about wet palettes that makes some better than others?
I think difference in sponges is a big one. Difference in the palette paper that it comes with is another one. But generally speaking, not a ton. There are definitely some sponges that I prefer over others. Depending on the absorbency and,
Bob said, Jason is using the November Challenge colors for sure. Jordan, are you?
I'm not.
No.
Nope. I am.
Yes, there's a love song.
Oops.
Is it Life is a Highway? Sally is the girl. I did figure that. Love song is called Find Yourself by Brad Paisley. Oh.
So, I am. You guys can see this. So I'm painting this. These two models belong, or this model belongs in the same faction that these models belong in. So I'm painting them in colors that belong together. So I'm gonna use a lot of like jades and reds in this model. I definitely want to do like some kind of bluish, like tealish hint to the feathers. I want them to be like mostly black, but I want to have a little bit of that kind of blue tone to them as well. And then I'm probably going to incorporate a little bit more of that in the skin as well.
Jordan being all quiet today.
Me?
Yeah.
I'm all quiet?
I had to turn you up.
Oh, well, pardon me.
Wow, it's November, Baby J. You made the rules only fall colors. Breaking his own rules. Sometimes that's what
There's
we
no.
do.
Okay, hold on, Hoosiers. There is nothing in the challenge notes that say that I have to follow the rules of the challenge
Hoosier
when
didn't
I'm
say
on
anything.
stream.
Jordan, it was JP
What Jordan
Gray,
is doing is giving us an example.
JP Gray and Ghost Hunter.
What Jordan is doing today is giving us
Hoosiers,
an
you're
example
fine.
of how government works. The rules
sorry,
he sets
Hoosiers.
forth for you are not the rules that he sets forth for himself. Welcome to democracy.
I pulled a Mo's magic again.
Slayer Street, what's going on?
I'm sorry, Hoosiers. I did not mean to throw you under the bus. You are not the person who deserves to be under the bus. That is, in fact, is JP Gray.
Oh, it's okay. Sorry, this is when I couldn't.
It's in
see.
JP's like, haha,
Slayer
yes, blame others for my
Street.
words. JP loves us because he can come in here and feel safe, because we'll never get it right.
Slayer
We'll always
Street has
mention the
dark
person
blue
above him
as
in
well.
chat.
I'm certainly going to mess it up, that's for sure. 'cause-
When I see the dark blue, I just assume it's always the same person. Sorry, Slayer Street. Just tuning in. Why the wet palette today? Because he is using only the colors for this month's Discord challenge, and he wants to be able to see them all on the palette and be able to mix them easily. Is that the gist of it?
Yeah, I've got to be able to have the paints all usable because I'm using the same paints to mix in multiple ways. So the wet palette makes that a lot more utilitarian, right? I don't have to have, a particular color drying out all the time and then realize I need to use it to mix for the next thing on the model, right? So wet palettes are good if you're going to be doing a lot of mixing. Right now I'm not, but I'm just kind of getting set up. I only have 3 of the colors out. I went to Jordan earlier and I said, don't we have another wet palette around here? And we have like 3 or 4.
Yep.
So.
They exist in the building.
Big Bob, did you try turning it off and turning it back on?
Alright, so we're doing the not
Oh, Slayer
oil
Street's
wash
name is visible now.
blending again. We're going to do it on some of the red.
You have to relive yesterday with all the time spent dealing with government. Weren't you just at like a government office having to do something, Avian?
Yeah, I feel like you said that yesterday.
Was that yesterday?
I think it was yesterday. I mean, he's saying yesterday, reliving yesterday. Baby J repainting things is just turning the mini off and on and back on again. So a reset.
I hit the reset buttons on miniatures more frequently than I care to admit.
We've seen.
I'm aware of that, unfortunately.
Yesterday we were having a conversation. Baby J goes, Jason, you know what I love? And I said, Baby J, tell me, what do you love? You know I'm here for you. And he looks me square in the eyes and he says, I love when people call me out for repainting my minis all the time. It teaches me valuable lessons on how I should focus and be more comfortable with the things I create. And I looked at him back square in the eyes and I said, Baby J, I love these conversations with you. Your openness is endearing. And I'm very glad that we can provide this service that helps you become a better human being.
My favorite part about this is Game Delay saying, this is a real story that definitely happened. JP Gray spent all day at the DMV yesterday getting his license back because he got a job like a real grown-up. JP Gray, that's awesome.
No way. You can't drive a car.
He said it's selling Pokemon cards, but I guess it's a real job.
I
I mean,
mean-
if people give you money for work that you do, it's a job.
Correct.
It's odd to me
Good
that
for
he needs
you.
a driver's license. That man can't drive.
It's probably just because you have to have an ID. But he could probably drive. JP, can you drive? One lesson it didn't teach him, proper airbrush cleaning. Am I right, Jason? LOL.
Ha.
So I have a new theory that we're going to test out tomorrow, and that is that for the first 20 minutes of stream, people who have dark blue names, their names are dark blue, and then at 20 minutes in, it changes them.
That's weird.
Because Slayer Street and Megalodon are both a
Oh,
lighter
yeah.
blue now that we can read.
That's really odd.
And I noticed it from Slayer Street. His first 2 or 3 comments were the dark, and then all of a sudden they were light, and I looked, and it was 220.
That's really interesting.
The witching hour.
Kinda. It's limited to a 20-mile radius from my home, which sounds like you have an ankle monitor.
Yeah, I'm like, is this, do we have to have a conversation?
Need age verification for accessing the mature Pokemon.
These are not the cards you're looking for.
What kind of Pokemon are we talking about?
I don't think he's talking about the same Pokemon cards that we're talking about.
My crimes are not tied to my driving abilities. That's good.
So I'm using the not oil wash again to get these nice smooth glazes of color onto the skin. I'm going to add a little bit more of that kind of teal color in the recesses.
Ghost Hunter really trying to make Super Poop be the name of the not oil wash.
It's definitely not Super Poop. That I can confirm for you right now, that it is not, in fact, Super Poop.
Unfortunately, labels are already being printed.
Yeah,
You can't change it
can't
now.
change it. Baby J, that thing looks mean, but the owl would still probably take it.
Probably, to be honest.
Percival has
Percival
no time
Chevalier?
for this.
Percival knows what's up.
There is not a creature alive that can stand up
It's true.
Correct.
to the might that
very
is
true.
Percival Chevalier, the fifth,
That is
first of his
correct.
name, destroyer of ankles, savior of mankind. Screw the owls.
Game Delay said in my head, they've now become New Wash, but spelled N-O-O Wash. And I like it, and it feels very 50s sci-fi.
Who's this?
Game Delay.
In my head, they've now become New Wash, but spelled newish. I like it. It feels very 1950s sci-fi. I like the way you think, Game Delay.
I also like the way you think.
Jason's gritty, grimy. I cannot believe it's not oil. That, you got it. It just
Jen's the only one
rolls
allowed
off
to
the
have
tongue.
a named product that isn't a signature series artist. I haven't reached a status where I'm allowed that grandiose stature.
Don't you like to make all the paint and stuff?
Do what?
Don't you like to make all the paint and stuff?
Don't I do what?
Don't you like develop all the paint and stuff?
Well, there's that. But it doesn't have my name on it.
I feel
He
like
doesn't get to put his
you
name
could
on it.
deserve to have a little bit of this as well.
I don't like all that.
Oh, well, there's one thing if you don't want it, then...
There is, you know what? I'm going to tell you, there's a lot of pressure when your name is on a product.
Yep. Yep.
Is
there is a
there when the
reason.
pressure is just really good?
There is a reason why I still do so much of the soap making.
No, that's fair.
I can't let go.
I mean, you make a really fantastic product, so I can get that.
Well, thankfully, I have help now.
You do have help now.
There's help from people that actually like doing it, too.
Yeah, I think so.
I would not have been your Huckleberry.
You know what's really funny? I actually get that reference. I have watched Tombstone.
Ah, yes, the humble Jason. Jason is showing his Gen X roots.
What am I doing?
How so?
Working hard?
Dang.
I said it.
Oof, duh.
Using logic and rational thinking.
Logic, rational thinking, and working hard. Yes.
Not wanting to be in the spotlight.
Also that. I don't know. There's plenty of people that glom to the spotlight in every generation.
That
Yeah.
is true.
They're super gray, those roots. Hey, watch it.
This is true. I looked at myself in the mirror this morning and I was like, that's a lot more gray than was yesterday.
Oh my gosh, I looked at my hair and I'm like, am I at the point where I just have to let my hair turn white?
Yes, please. I think you'd be, I mean, you're already beautiful, but you would look great with like that silvery, foxy
I
hair.
wish it would look like that. That's my fear, is that it's not going to look like that. But I was looking at my hair and it's pretty white right now.
I mean, you could just make it that color.
Well, that's the thing, because I don't want to let it just turn into it, because that would look ridiculous. So I
Yeah,
might
you
have
have
to
to, like-
strip all the color out
Yeah.
and then just let it go.
Yeah.
Maybe. It's so funny because the last time I went and got my hair done, Heather said this to me. She's like, I have decided that we are never going to let our hair turn gray. because she went to a concert and
Scaredy cat.
was talking about, I think it was the Foo Fighters concert, was talking about the older ladies or the older people that were sitting near them. And she said that one of them had gray hair and just looked so much older than she probably was.
Who cares?
If I could have it just pure white, beautiful white, I would do it in a second. Looked at yourself, your beard is so gray, can't wait to be a silver fox.
My beard is already starting to go, that's for sure. It's
Mine too.
I'm quite a bit younger than you are,
Oh, jeez.
Jason. Also, your beard is very gray.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're already in that
Embrace the
camp.
gray. Quite a bit younger, says the baby.
I mean, I'm 30.
Sales titanium white. Perhaps next up is monument hair dye. Nah.
Nah. I can't. If I can't
Too
be
much
bothered to use a
product
product,
testing.
I'm certainly not backing it.
Too many rules and regulations.
I did like just for men on my beard once, and while the outcome was pretty cool, it wasn't me. It didn't feel right. I mean, granted, it de-aged me by like 30 years. But that's not a thing I care about. I am's what I am's.
Yup. Everybody gets older. If we're lucky.
I was going to say, the more you fight it, I think the more stress it gives you.
Yep.
Right?
Just let it
Like,
happen.
just be what you are. Who cares? You're only as old as you think.
He
Age ain't nothing but a number.
He didn't have the gray hair when we met, though, JP.
What's that?
That has happened in the 9 years since that time. JP said he still posted those photos on Tinder and got Jen.
Yeah, I was not this gray.
It was match, and he wasn't this gray.
It was match, and it wasn't this gray.
And neither was I.
Jen
Every time you get a
caused
haircut,
all
you find
this.
more gray. It's all closer to your head. What'd you say?
Nothing.
What did he say?
I won't even
Was it
repeat it.
something mean? With my face, taking my hair white would look striking and make you timeless. That's the goal. That's what I would love. My stepmom has white hair and I love it. One of my yoga teachers has white hair and I love it.
It's a good look.
It's beautiful.
I think it looks fantastic.
Yeah, it is really a good look.
But in a lot of those cases, it's not as white
Right.
as you feel.
It's like dingy gray. Gross.
It is gray.
Yeah. Mousy, ratty. Bleh.
You know that.
And that's my fear. Three kids will make anyone go more gray. I don't even have kids.
Well, you kind of have one.
Well, we have. I was gonna say we have 14.
That's also true.
I've had thousands of them in my lifetime.
Yeah. Jen's like, I'm over
I'm
that.
done.
We're done with that.
Not in my house.
Not in my house. There will be no children
No
in
children
this
in my house.
establishment.
They can visit. That's it. Hello, Jade.
We do have a lot of youngins that work for us.
There's like three people that are it would be mathematically impossible for me to have a child their age.
Kyle,
besides Jason. Yeah. Kyle,
Carter,
Carter,
and
Ruben.
Shelby's mom.
Oh,
Oh,
four. Ruben.
Yeah, Ruben and Shelby's mom.
Yeah. So 4. Everybody else. I am old enough, probably around the age of their parents.
And how the hell are you doing, Mo?
My parents are actually had me pretty old, pretty far along in their life. I do not have super young parents.
Mo's a bit under the weather. Uh-oh.
Sorry, Mo. Hope you start feeling better soon.
We were just talking today about how great the weather is.
Well, I just said I was cold. I don't know if I said that was a good thing.
I mean, the weather is pretty great right now. Liz's dad just turned 80 and she's 30.
Who's?
JP's wife.
Oh,
Jade said
Yeah,
my
50.
parents are 45 years older than me. Yeah, so some older parents. I have a friend who is my age and adopted a baby 4 years ago.
yeah.
So
There's nothing wrong with it.
no,
Yeah.
no, it's just less common.
It's less common, yeah. Because I think my parents, I want to say my parents were in their late 30s, like 37, 38, something like that. I want to say my mom and dad are like 30,
Close to 70?
68. Yeah, 69.
They're close to
something
70
like
now. I had very young parents. My mom.
Yeah, my mom's very young.
Yeah, we both had teen moms.
Yeah, my mom's mom, or my grandmother, I should say. I want to say she's like 90, something like that.
JP, you're in your late 30s. That's okay. It happens. Bobson Dugnut said I gave up on youth when the local oldies station started playing Nirvana and Pearl Jam. Yep.
That's when you're like, well, I guess we've moved up a rung.
At least you don't have a dad that left for smokes and never came back.
Joke's on you. I'm just kidding.
Hard having parents in their 80s when their health is failing and they expect you to stop your life and take care of them, but you're in your 30s and building a life. Yeah, it's hard. My friend, one of my best friends from college, was the youngest of 6 children. All of her siblings moved away, and her mom passed when she, like, right before she got married, which was 20 some years ago. But her dad only passed a couple years ago, and she loved taking care of him, though, and helping him because he was just a delight. He was so funny and nice and lived in this really cool retirement community and was super popular with all the ladies there. Drove golf carts. It was awesome.
That's funny.
Omicron, hello.
Welcome to day 2 of new stream schedule, which I am enjoying.
I mean, it definitely feels good for the
Yeah.
productivity in the mornings.
Oh, yeah. Makes it easier to do stuff during lunches too, which is cool. We've been playing more Massive Darkness, which has been a blast.
Have you been enjoying that?
Yeah, it's really fun.
Gabe was so funny. yesterday I was here, and Jen and I decided what we wanted to get. We wanted to go to this Khyber halal place to get some Afghan / Indian Middle Eastern style food. And when I called them, at first they said that it would have to be a bit before they could take an order. Call back in like a half an hour.
Oh,
it was very
really?
strange. So I was like, okay. So I was just sitting here waiting for the half hour to go, and then I wrapped up. I was doing some spreadsheet business, and then started looking at the internet. I was like, oh, now I need to call them. And I called them, and they told me 20 minutes. I told Jen 20 minutes. So I sat around here some more, waiting for the clock to tick by. And I go to leave, and unbeknownst to me, there's Gabe.
Oh.
Sitting out in the...
He was still here?
He's sitting out in the game room, getting ready for their Massive Darkness game. I'm like, Gabe, what are you doing here?
Was he by himself?
Yeah.
Is it
He was
a game
just
you can
so
play by
wrapped
yourself?
up in it. He's loving that
No,
game.
he was just setting it up.
Oh.
He
funny.
is having an absolute blast
That's awesome.
with the game. He loves it.
So mixed up just a real quick additional brown color, since all I've got is warm brown as a natural, and red, green, yellow, blue. Make brown. Just a good base brown that you can adjust however you need to.
Jade, I'm sorry. That's rough. That's no fun
More like a
at all. Family
dark
stuff.
umberish.
So hard. I lost my mom. My mom passed in 2011, and I'm not close at all to my dad. I do have 2 half siblings, and they're not super close with him either. So I don't know what's gonna happen if anything happens. Don't know who's gonna handle all that.
What do you mean? What's going to happen?
Like if my dad were to get sick, or when the time comes and he passes away, I don't know who's gonna deal with all of his stuff, in his house, and
Probably your brother.
who's gonna be pissed about it.
You say he's gonna be pissed
My
about
brother
it?
and my dad don't get along at all.
Oh.
Yeah, and my sister lives in Australia, so she's not,
Your
she's not
sister lives in
accessible.
Australia?
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. What made her move out there?
Her husband.
A boy.
A boy.
A boy. Well, I mean, I guess
Who's
that makes
awesome.
sense.
They actually met in Hawaii. They've been married since 2017, and they have 2 children. Game Delay wants to know which character you're playing, Jordan.
Am I playing for
Massive
Darkness? I'm playing the mage, the wizard.
Melbourne now. They lived in Sydney when they first moved, but when did they buy their house? Like 2 years ago?
During COVID.
It was
'Cause
during
they couldn't
COVID.
move
Yeah,
during
because they
lockdown.
couldn't move. They couldn't get into their house.
Oh, they couldn't get into their
They
house.
couldn't. They weren't allowed
Oh my goodness.
because they were moving from Sydney to Melbourne, and
Oh,
they
no.
closed and owned this house and couldn't get there.
Oh my gosh.
No. Lucky me, I live far away. My sisters live on the same block, so guess who's not dealing with grumpy dad? It's fun how different each character plays in Massive Darkness. Switch
true.
characters, it's a new game.
Yeah, it's really cool. Yeah, we have a 4-person game going on right now. We're playing the Heaven something or other expansion, which adds on like a whole campaign system for the game, which is really neat. So there's, instead of just playing one specific like scenario and that's it, you end up playing through like 7 different scenarios over the course of your campaign.
JP, maybe you'll make some new friends at your new job.
Heck yeah. I did. I made lots of new friends.
You think that Jordan knew all of these people for years?
I did not.
No,
I said you would think you would.
Oh,
You did. The way
oh.
you just integrated in. And,
Yeah,
you know?
it didn't take long.
No.
Yeah.
That kind of happens here.
Yeah.
We have
Yeah.
people who really tend to get along very well.
We are blessed with a wonderful
We have-
group of people that we work with.
Was it just yesterday I was saying that? That I just love our team.
Yeah, it's
Such good people here.
it is one of the most amazing things about working here. There's a lot of great things about working here. The staff is definitely one of the best parts.
Mathematically, I could have had Jordan. That's the thing.
That math tracks.
That math tracks. I would not even have been a teen mom.
Still probably would have been pretty young though, yeah.
21. Not that young.
That's fair. I guess that's not that crazy young to have a kid.
Let's play the Could Jen Be Our Mom game. I'm 51. You guys can figure it out.
Yeah, I'm 51. You guys do the math.
Wait a minute. How old
We
did you
don't
say
we don't
you
have to
are?
do this. We don't have to do that.
How old did you just say you were? Chad, I've been lied to.
How old did you think she was?
27.
I mean,
She's been telling me she's 27 for 9 years. I know I only have myself to blame, but 27 and 9 is still not 51, so I feel a little...
JP's like, my mom's still 29. Yeah, I've never understood that.
Again, same mix. Blue, red, yellow, and green. And you just leave, like that one's more green in the mix, so you get a little bit different base brown. So you can use those 4 colors to do whatever you need.
That's crazy. That doesn't look like there's any blue in it at all.
What's that?
It didn't look like there's any blue in it at all.
The blue I'm using as the shade, right? So that it just darkens it
Yeah.
all up. Because if I just use the red and the green together, a little bit of yellow, I can get a brown that I like, but it won't be dark enough. So the blue allows me to darken it all up, but I can overtake the blue very easily with the green and the yellow. So that I don't get the red starting to turn to purple and all that.
there's a lot of situations too where you'll mix a color into another color, and it'll disappear, but it'll just make the other color a little bit more desaturated. Kind of depends on how much you mix and what colors you're mixing together.
Same age as your sister, so I'd have been 13. Yep. Probably not. Although my first year teaching, I had a pregnant 14-year-old in my class.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
It was an alternative school. The kids they had a lot of life challenges.
Yeah, that's fair.
The answer is no. Jen could not be my mother. She would have been 1. I like to know that there are a few people our age in chat.
I feel like we've got a pretty mature chat as far as age is
Whoa.
concerned. Whoa.
Let's not go getting all cocky there, buddy.
I don't know. Y'all seem so nice and mature.
Omicron, did your sister go to Hendrix? Because I went to Hendrix too. So maybe I did know her. I have not dug out my yearbooks.
Omicron.
Older, not mature.
Alright, fine. Chat's older then. You guys don't get the new...
I'm too old for this chat. Wait, mature?
Look, I'm just over here trying to be kind.
48, certainly not mature.
Trying to be kind over here, chat. You're
Maturity has its time and place.
not in my house.
Not in this stream.
So you guys can see me applying more of this mixed color with the not oil wash in it.
I'm almost 40 and just got a job at a Pokemon retailer. Not mature. The time is never and the place is not here.
I'm 53 and I'm painting little men in front of a bunch of people on the internet. I'd like to have the discussion now so we don't have to have it later.
I think we are comfortable being immature.
This is definitely a safe
time
space.
And place for maturity.
This is definitely a safe space for not growing up.
I'm 63. When does maturity start? According to my wife, she is still waiting.
I never saw the upside to it, so I decided I was going to leave that out of my bucket list. The people I see who say they're mature, kind of not the way I pattern my life.
Pokemon showed up in the Louvre. That's mature. There you go, JP.
Did you say Pokemon is in the lube?
That's what Division Ring said. Was it because some kid dropped a card there?
I think she's talking about the Louvre.
Oh, the okay.
What did you think I said?
Lube.
Oh, Louvre, the museum in
Yeah.
France.
He thought you would put a B on the end of that.
Ah, no.
Yeah.
I don't even know how that would work.
I mean,
Pokemon fans immediately ripped the display apart to get the limited edition cards, but it was mature for a minute or two. Is that real?
please tell me this actually happened.
Now I want a lawnmower Pokemon called Mona Lisa. Joe MN said, Slowfuse, thank you for the nice comment on the skeleton.
The sticker? I just want that damn sticker. Can we make that?
Yes, Pokemon Company partnered with the Louvre with some Van Gogh styled art, including Pikachu in gray hat. Very interesting. BSS terrain. Well, what do we have here? Talking about Jason using wet palette?
Yep, we got a Jason, and he's using a wet palette. What on earth has the world come to? Turns out, the November challenge.
Pokemon Louvre. Oh my gosh, that is crazy. I have to pull this up so you guys can see it. It's a $150 card, aka part of my retirement plan. Look at this.
That's awesome.
Ha! That's awesome.
That's actually amazing, and I love it.
Yeah, the Pikachu in the gray hat. That's the one we're looking at right now. That's awesome.
That is pretty cool.
Go, Sue. Hello.
Go,
We're
Sue.
looking at Pokemon at the Louvre.
What goes well, Go, Sue? What goes well?
So good.
So some kids broke in and stole it? Or broke the display and stole it?
So they immediately ripped the display apart to get limited edition cards.
Children these days.
After its team up with Pokemon, flippers swarm the Van Gogh Museum to snap up merch and pick the gift shop clean.
Oh, okay, that's different. I thought they had one like on display in the Louvre, and some kids just like broke the display.
Oh, and maybe it was
stole
at the Van Gogh Museum in Amsterdam, not the Louvre. It came that came up when I searched the Louvre,
Oh, okay,
but I think it's
Weird.
the Van Gogh Museum,
and not the Louvre.
not the Louvre. Gosu's making some good progress on Cerastus Night Lancer. Just got the
Ooh.
cockpit base coated, about to paint up the pilot now.
Very cool. It's a cool kit. I haven't seen anybody build one yet. Although I was looking at some of my Adeptus Titanicus stuff last night and thinking that I really wanted to play that game again. I got a whole army that's done. It's all painted. I can play whenever I want. It's great. Baby J robots. JP Gray. We're not ready for robot time yet. It's not. We're not ready for it.
No, that attitude.
Wait. Jordan joined in the age-old tradition of recognizing that people younger than him are less smart? Yes.
Except once in a while you meet one
Also, sometimes no.
that's not.
Yeah.
And that was always a rough day.
I think Gabe is a good example of
Gabe.
somebody who I don't think is dumber than me, but is younger than me.
I agree.
I think Gabe is a very smart
For
person.
myself, I think Gabe is a lot smarter than me.
Gabe is also very mature for his age.
Yes.
Much more so than I would have expected, given how young he is.
And I've met his mother, so I don't know how this happened.
Yeah.
I think it's starting to look like maybe Gabe had to be the voice of reason in the family.
He is the oldest. So that does make some amount of sense. To some extent. Yeah, right, but moaning about kids these days is a rite of passage. I have unironically said that at this office.
Oh, kids.
About some,
Kids these days.
one or two employees that are friends of mine.
Jacob.
Or Paul.
Paul.
Yeah.
I love Paul's quirkiness.
Paul's quirkiness is wonderful.
He's always like, "Hi, Mr. Jason, Mrs. Jennifer."
He probably picks that up largely from Ruben.
No, I think that's just who he is.
I think
it's cultural.
It could be. Yeah.
We have magazine covers reaching back into the 1800s, I think, that say generation after generation, no one wants to work anymore. Really? It's not just now? This has been happening since, like, the beginning of time?
Since the dawn of time.
I mean, that seems reasonable. That each generation would look at the one below it and be like, oh, the work ethic, where is it?
It literally says in the Bible, "Get off my lawn."
Breaking news, children have no respect for their elders. Oh, I don't think that's always true.
It's not
Because
necessarily
everyone here is
wrong.
very respectful to me and Jason.
That's true. Wouldn't necessarily call anybody here children, though.
I mean, coming back to the beginning, they could all be my children.
Fair. Fair.
Working is fun, isn't it? I mean, it
Working
can
is
be.
fun. Yes, I agree with this.
I enjoy my work.
I wouldn't say that all of my work is fun, but I feel like I have a very fun work environment, which makes the less fun tasks more enjoyable.
That's very reasonable.
Life is not fun. You should probably search to have more fun moments than
Yeah.
not. But does that make it globally fun? I don't know. Interesting conundrum.
JP, that's awesome. I'm glad you're excited.
What is JP excited about?
He said, having not had a job for 7 years, I want to work so badly.
Get you out in public again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
something to do.
Socialize
Actually,
you.
like my job, but I don't want to do it anymore, said Omicron.
What do you say?
Said he likes his job, but he doesn't want to do it anymore.
I mean, I get that.
Yeah.
Jen and I look at each other in the morning. Sometimes we're like, do we have to? That's our favorite wake-up line.
It is. Recently, it's like, oh.
Do we have to? Time to make the donuts.
But it's for sure, like, once I'm up and here, it's totally fine. I don't even think about it.
Oh, I just do it for
And I
tongue.
don't, and it's good natured.
I do it mostly as tongue-in-cheek.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's absolutely tongue-in-cheek, good-natured, just silliness.
I don't think I would ever expect that to not be tongue-in-cheek if you said it.
Time to make the
The
donuts.
public is not ready for JP. Life is more fun since I found miniature painting, and I do love that my job pays for that. Definitely makes it easy when you've got a hobby that can be supported by your income.
Yeah, exactly. Find the best way to relieve whatever stress you build up during the day. Even if it's just sit down and stare out the window, pet the dog. Right? You got to find a way to breathe life back into yourself, recharge your batteries, no matter what it is you do. You know, there's people that would look and say, "Oh, you work for Monument Hobbies. There's no way you've had a bad day." I'm like, I mean,
Oh, everybody
That's
has bad
not
days.
how that works.
everybody
Yeah.
has bad days.
Doesn't matter how much you love your job. There are still days that
Things
suck more.
go
Well, your
wrong
job isn't
here.
everything in your life, right?
Yeah, things break, things go wrong, people make mistakes. It's all kinds of stuff that are normal job things that cause people to be stressed or to,
Yes.
feel anxious about their job or whatever. I mean,
Just because you like
just
your
normal.
job doesn't mean those things don't exist.
Exactly.
Or don't happen.
Exactly. Spatsnat said, just because they're older doesn't mean they deserve respect. There are lots of older people that do things to lose all respect.
Also true.
When I take time, Game Delay said, when I take the time to pet the dog, someone out there is wondering where their dog went.
Well, I mean, I wasn't specific.
That's true. Division Ring said, sometimes kids touch the thin pointy bits on models.
Oh my
Yes,
gosh.
they do.
Don't remind me. That child.
Just another good excuse to not have children.
I was not thrilled.
That's the dream, Punisher, isn't it? When I was my last job in education where I worked at a school, I would stand out every morning monitoring the kids coming in and the drop off and things like that. And these are high school kids. And it was right on a busy road, and I would stand out there every morning and just look at the people driving around. I'm like, I wonder where they're going, that they're not at a job right now. I'm like, when am I going to get to that point?
Got two kinds of wet in my pants.
Maniac!
Maniac!
Welcome, Raiders!
What's up, Raiders? Hello. Scott, if you are there.
No, it was Evan and Roya today.
Oh, well, hello, Evan and Roya.
A lot of Roy.
Roy.
A lot of Evan digging around in a drawer trying to find an airbrush that works. I feel like he had some choice words for Scott's airbrush
Uh-oh.
etiquette.
We get a.
Hello, Raiders.
We make airbrushes. Just PSA. Get one right here. MonumentHobbies.com.
Yeah, Jen can literally like walk 200 feet that way and have one in her
I can
hand.
go get it. Have it in my hand. 27 non-working airbrushes. By
27 non-working airbrushes by my count.
1 Inch Heroes, thank you for the follow.
Thank you.
Miniac
Welcome.
Signature Series when?
He doesn't use our paints very often. He just did, though.
Although we can't watch the VOD
Yeah, we can't watch the VOD because
because Scott doing Scott things.
I think somebody said it's on the Patreon or on the YouTube or something.
Oh,
like
I
that.
guess
I didn't
that
go
makes
look
sense.
at YouTube.
I guess so.
My friend has 7 airbrushes, only one of them works. Oh.
Instead of like maintaining your airbrush, you just buy a new one.
That seems really, really, really not the way to do that.
I do that with socks and underwear.
Scott's VODs all post to the Miniac backlog channel.
Gotcha. Okay, cool.
Wait, you're one and done with shoes, with socks and underwear?
No.
What's your budget like for the month?
I had a buddy in the motorcycle world, and he would never wear a pair of socks more than once.
I mean,
He
that
would take them to Goodwill or give them to somebody, and he wore like super expensive socks.
Oh, really? That's hilarious.
Wait,
Just
sorry.
a tick.
What happened? Can you repeat that story really quick?
A buddy of mine, he is the editor for like Hot Bike and all of the Paisan. Is it Paisano? I forget. Like Hot Bike Mag and Street Chopper Mag and all that. Jeff, if anybody out there knows those magazines, Jeff, the editor in chief for that entire magazine company, he won't wear a pair of socks more than once.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, doesn't matter.
Huh.
You go like motorcycle camping with the guy, it's like his entire backpack is socks.
So he doesn't wash them?
Nope.
Doesn't need to.
Why?
He just refuses to wear it.
Just because he can?
I have no idea. He wouldn't. It was just a tick for him. It was just a thing.
Mike Genie said, listen, if you work it correctly, you can wear a new pair of socks every day for like $250 a year. It's on my dream board.
I'm gonna be honest.
On your vision board at home.
Vision board.
Not worth it.
No dirty socks.
I have to admit, though, the idea of having a fresh pair of socks every day does sound kind of awesome. Like,
JP Gray says, I have not worn socks since 2006. So you got your own problems.
because like,
You haven't had to put on a pair of dress shoes since 2006? What year did you get married?
those socks suck. I hate those socks.
Oh, but I mean, socks,
Dress socks.
it counts.
Those suck.
Is that figure handmade or only for painting? Which one are you asking about? You need some more vowels in there.
What was the question?
Is the figure handmade or only for painting?
Which one?
That's what I'm waiting for.
The
dwarf? This one is from Spira Mirabilis. It's limited edition, so I don't think there's any more of these. One of our viewers and Discord members sent me this one.
Yep. Yours is designed to be just a fun thing to paint.
Yeah, but it is not for gaming or anything.
Mine
It's
is
just for painting.
Is in fact for a game. This is the Fallen Divinity.
Game Delay says, I get new socks every month from the Awesome Socks Club, and that's one of my joys. That sounds like
cool.
a fun club to be in.
That's cool. Hood Venture, those things have been gone for a bit. Yeah, it's been around for years.
The Fallen Divinity is gone?
No. Well, I don't know.
Hood Venture was just talking about the Fallen Divinity.
Oh, the Fallen Divinity.
Gone. Yeah.
Professional Paint Liquor, hello.
I mean, the Contraros Giant, same thing, right? They're limited edition.
Yeah. I've had this one for a year and change. I got it when it came out.
Handmade and made for painting. And eating after. No. It's not cake. Division Ring said, I'm curious about the board game which uses Slow Fuse's dwarf as a game piece.
Took lessons from Sephiroth. That's funny.
Game play.
Yeah, Adventure that's been sold out for about a year now. It's one of their crazy limited edition things. That's interesting. I did not realize that they were that limited.
How does she have only one wing and fly?
Magic.
Isn't her other wing the thing behind her? It's turned into a demon wing?
Nope. It's like...
So it's like a cape or something?
Yeah.
I thought that was the other wing as well.
No, that's the other wing.
No. Nope. Because her arm turns into this wing.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Oh, gotcha.
And it comes all the way down to her side.
I always thought, looking at that model, that the other wing had turned into like a demonic
No, it
appendage.
It actually like connects to her lower back. If you can see in
Adventure?
there. Let me see if I can.
What is the last color you bought from us? The last new color you bought from us? Because I don't know.
Ooh.
I don't know
Yeah.
what you've got. Our last release was in August. We have another one coming up at the end of this month. Which two artists? Ben and Matt? If you got Ben and Matt, then you are up to date until the end of this month. Okay. Yep. Ben and Matt were the last two that we've released. Game Delay said, hold up. You're looking at the lady's total lack of internal organs, and the concern is about the physics of flight?
Correct.
Welcome to the world of fantasy.
And Hoodventure Time said that's an actual wing.
What is an actual wing? The bottom part?
Yeah, I think so. The fallen divinity was in fact a celestial being slowly corrupted, so that is a wing grown.
Just grew in a weird spot.
Panic Bomb, end of this month, fluorescence. And not really an oil wash. Not an oil
Our
wash.
full non-toxic acrylic water-based oil wash. So it doesn't make sense to call it an oil wash.
It's not an oil wash, but it performs.
We have
like
replaced the need for an oil wash.
Nope, it's not edible. Not edible. Nothing we make
in
is
most
edible.
situations. I'm not going to say all, because there are certain
We
things
want
you
the
can do with an
toxic
oil
one.
wash you still can't do with an acrylic. But in most situations, we've come out with a product, or coming out with a product later this month, that will give you that same thing, but you don't have to use solvents and nasty crap to get it done.
And
Water-based.
It's a medium, so you can mix it into other colors as well. So it doesn't come in just a set of colors. It is super flexible.
New wash. FNTAWBNOO wash. I think I caught all the things Jason said in that acronym.
Fintalbnu.
No, professional paint liquor.
Ghost like,
relax.
we want the toxic one.
Relax.
I'll stick with my toxic one.
We still don't approve.
We still don't approve.
Division Ring said, well, I guess that answers my question. I was about to ask if there was anything in the evolving world of acrylic paints that seemed like a mountain to climb or somebody else's good idea to copy. Huh? How did we answer your question? You feel like we're copying someone's idea?
No, I think maybe, correct me if I'm wrong, but the impression that I get from that question is that they were asking if there were any new, things that could come out of acrylics, aside from what currently exists, and that are not oil wash, was a good representation of
Yeah, the not oil wash is definitely a really good migration of acrylic into a different kind of world than it is normally able to be in because of the dry time being so quick, right? And so being able to create something that has as long of an open time as you'll find with our subtractive wash medium, I think you'll find some pretty amazing things you can do, and yet it doesn't feel like adding just an absolute crap ton of drying retarder to an acrylic paint, because that doesn't work.
Yeah.
If you've done that in the past, you realize that past a point you break the whole product and you just don't ever dry.
So let me
Tacky.
just thank you.
Doesn't
for
polymerize
that
properly, so
Yeah.
it doesn't really
And this is
turn
not
into acrylic.
This is not tacky at all. This is nice and smooth. And I've been using it for blending all on the skin of this model, just because I wanted to be able to get this like kind of weird, creepy, like vaguely humanoid flesh that's like really dark and desaturated, that looks kind of dead, you know. That was the idea. I think it's working really
Adventure.
well.
Thank you. Got the glaze medium. It works way better than GW's contrast medium, which is literally glaze and flow medium combined. Mr. Miyagi wash, wipe on, wipe off.
Pretty much, actually.
Division Ring said, with stuff like the new Fanatic paints coming, I was wondering what Monument might be planning, and an acrylic oil certainly seems like something new and cool.
The new Fanatic paints.
What does that mean?
I mean, don't get me started, right?
Oh. We'll talk later. You can tell
That's
me about
army
it.
paint. That's what army painters calling their new stuff.
Oh, I see.
Oh, new Fanatic?
So,
I see,
That's
I
weird.
You know.
see. It's
I
one
mean,
of
they haven't
those-
done anything new. They just finally learned how to make paint. Clip that.
Clip
Punisher.
that.
Punisher said it's one of the most important evolutions in acrylics, to be honest. The open time, having it being edible for so much longer after
Nope.
painting onto a model is game changing.
No, sir. Get him out of here. Unacceptable.
Sprinkles.
Banned.
My
Banned.
G1 sprinkles. Boba tea situation, but for paint. It's called agitators. You just have to gnaw on them for a while. They're like
They're so fast all of a
everlasting
sudden.
gobstoppers in our paint.
Yeah.
Glass agitators.
Division Ring said, seems like a lot of the other players are seeing change on the wind. Who's left that hasn't done a line refresh in the last few years? GW, P3, and Reaper.
GW tends to. When was theirs? Theirs was back
They-
before. I think back before the pandemic,
Yeah.
because I was still
It's
going
usually
to
every
our local
4
game
years or
store
so.
for game night, and they refreshed the entire line.
Yeah.
I think they. I don't know if Games Workshop has like a timeline that they do, but eventually they'll redo it and
Seems like
rename
it
some of the
before.
colors, because you can look back in GW's history and there's a lot of colors you can't get anymore, 10 bits and all sorts of things, and line refreshes. I guess it's by company as to how they feel they need to treat new releases, right? We talk about it around here because as a predominantly paint manufacturer, what happens when you make the last color, right? And so you have to either have other directions and other products that you make in order to do that, because I got to be honest with you, I can't see a need for a refresh of, say, Pro Acryl, unless there are, like, we've talked about it from time to time when we get to the end of the base range, when Color 96 come out later next year, then we may go back and look at some of the colors in the base range. We don't have any colors that don't sell is a tough thing, right? Because we keep the line small. The colors are fairly unique and varied. There are a couple of outliers that as we expand the line, you can be like, well, these are interchangeable. They're not exactly the same, but they're interchangeable. I can use them for the same things and possibly not have to have both. And if we run across those, then we have the opportunity to change and get rid of one and put in another. But that's always like somebody loves that color, right? Somebody uses and loves it, so it's tough. So I don't know. You never say never, but I don't understand why we would do that, because you have to have a green, so you wouldn't get rid of green to make green.
Right.
You wouldn't get rid of red to make red. Just because you want to call it something new and funny doesn't make sense for our brand. So, I think it's different. Same for Reaper. I mean, Reaper, I don't know, has to do a refresh of their line. The paint is not the bulk of what they do. The bulk of what they do is the miniatures.
Miniatures, yeah.
And the paint supplements the miniatures. So I feel like they have a really good thing going. I don't know why they would have to refresh. They've done it before. They've come out with new stuff and then gotten rid of it and things like that. But
Relapse said all the companies did like a speed paint, then airbrush paint, single pigment, and fluorescence are all the rage.
what's that now?
I don't know. Yeah.
Speed paint, yeah.
And then
Yeah,
airbrush
I think there's a
paint.
lot of market reaction on things like that, right? Because when contrast came, it's funny because contrast paint came out the exact same time that our transparent paints did. And we had no knowledge of what they were doing, but our transparent paints were just a really neat way to get to use, a paint over a value sketch and things like that. We didn't make it like a wash so that it was meant for painting quickly. I think painting quickly is more about the artist and not about the product. And so I don't know that sticks here. That's not who we are as a brand. I don't know that we care about the market pressures of, you got to make a speed paint. We made a paint that works for everything. So our paint works great in the airbrush, great on the brush. You don't have to do much with it. So I can't see an airbrush line. That would just be a money grab. Why? Right? It'd be all the same colors, thinner.
From us?
Like, why?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, why?
Ghost Who Said I Saw Ammo by Meg is releasing a new acrylic line of lacquer-like acrylics. What would that mean? Like super shiny? Is that what that would
Or
mean, maybe?
super durable.
Yeah, I don't know if that means anything. Heavy polymer
Yeah.
or heavy polyurethane acrylics. They exist. Like the Tamiya ones are like that.
The boba you put in there definitely hurt my teeth. That wasn't us.
Yeah, don't bite down hard.
Yeah.
You gotta take care of there. It's more of a suck, not a chew. Oh, don't click that.
New fanatics? Fanatics these days don't even know how to fanatic right. They barely self-flagellate.
Wait a minute.
Electric
Adventure
Salmon
P3
will
is dead.
eventually be
GW did the
made.
change in 8th edition. GW did the change in 8th edition. They got hit with copyright. So really? They tried to copyright the paints? Oh, is that back when they wanted to be able to copyright the names? So they changed the names of everything because you couldn't just have generic words be copyrighted. So maybe they changed it to get their names to be more specific.
Well,
So
that
yeah,
could
maybe
be.
they won't do that again then. I don't know.
Thank you for that follow, Dantonina Sokolovate.
They definitely
That was pretty good actually.
I mean,
that was pretty
broke it
good.
down.
That was pretty good. Thanks for the follow, Dan. Danton. We'll call you Danton.
Dantonina.
Adventure, you think you bought Pro Acryl when we were being distributed by those people? Yeah, we started making it in
Been around for a long
2018.
time. How do you feel about the space bears?
Space Bears?
Little skins?
Space bears, little skinks?
Don't know.
What do you mean, space bears? And thank you for the follow.
I would like to think that bears in little like astronaut uniforms would be pretty cute. But I don't know if
Panic
that's
Bomb
where
says,
we're
unless
going.
you're updating the medium, changing pigments, etc., I don't see the point. Yeah. I mean, we have the benefit of coming in later to the game of what hobby paints need to be than, say, Vallejo, who's been doing it for decades, and some of the other players have been doing it for a long time and had a formula, and then maybe their formula needs to change to keep up competitively speaking or whatever. So we made a good paint from the get-go.
Yeah.
So there might be some breathing time when we get done to go back and look at, like I said, individual colors. We've already done that. The Faded Plum.
We did do that
Faded
recently.
Plum.
Yeah.
We reworked Faded Plum. And that's already been instituted, but it's not a marketing thing. It's the same thing. We just go back and look at a paint and say, hey, are there things we can do differently? Maybe there's a new pigment that comes out, or a price drop on a pigment, a synthetic pigment that, used to be a fortune, and now they've found a way to make it in mass production, and so we can afford to do something with fewer pigments. We'd do stuff like that as long as we can adopt it in. But it's not stuff you would market. We don't really talk about it, except in conversations like this. We don't go out. We just do it behind the scenes.
Yep.
We just try to make the product better, but it's not from a marketing standpoint. The product's already what we want. So
Jordan, we can't see anything you're doing right
Sorry.
now.
brave titanium white
Yeah.
instead of the brave and the bold.
We will be making new paint colors until at least 2073 when plaid comes out. Well, we might stop for a while and then come, have a
Might circle back.
yeah.
Evan says the
resurgence
VOD for
when-
this thumbnail for this VOD is fire.
What does it look like?
Huh? He's probably talking about my little rib on Army Painter there.
Let's see. Wish we would do a take on Freak Flex.
Pearlescent paints and stuff.
Pearlescent. Legit
So,
glaze-
so And until you get into lacquers and enamels and things that are built to have that kind of material in suspension and work really well, acrylics are not the place to do those things. As you notice with like color shift metallics and things, they turn gloppy because they fall out of suspension in a water-based product, and so it makes it very, very difficult to get the mix right. And so when it's new, it works really one way and feels like what you want, and then as it ages, it doesn't do as well. And so we're not big fans of that. That's why it took us so long to want to do fluorescence. Like I've said, we wanted to try to find a way that we could get fluorescence without the fluoresce part, so that they still give you that real big hit of color, real punchy, real bright and vibrant, but don't have the aging issue that fluorescents do, where they fade over time, become chalky, and lose their brightness because of the chemical reaction with UV. And so we think we've done that. So the fluorescents, when they release them, we're really excited. Been using the hell out of them. So again, we never know though. We might try. Like right now, we've got on the board a bunch of things that we want to try to do with acrylics, and so it's really just cracking the code and figuring out how to make them happen. The long open time wash is one of the ones that, I just took and did this. Remember, this was from the mech on the right to the mech on the left, and it was just applying the not an oil wash on there and then rubbing it off with a sponge. I still kept the sponge, right? I just did it with warm brown. Just mixed some warm brown in a cup, slopped it on the whole model willy-nilly, and did this. And so this whole model took, 15 minutes?
It was super fast, yeah.
You
Evan,
know?
hey,
and
no
for
worries.
tabletop painting and getting something like BattleTech minis done quick, it was just like instantaneous. It's like your whole army is ready to put on the table in no time at all, and then you can go back and detail how you like. So
we know that post-stream can be a little chaotic, but thank you again for the raid.
Relapse, what were you talking about?
Relapse was the one talking about the this one. Everybody did a speed paint, then airbrush paint, single pigment, and fluorescents are all the rage. So whatever you were talking about in response. I don't know.
Oh, I don't know what you meant then.
Oh, that I think was about GW.
Yeah. They changed everything so that they could have their own copyright names and stuff. Yeah.
Space Bears chapter in 40K.
I don't know this. By Jazza? Never heard of it.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. It's just like a custom chapter that this person made.
Oh, cool.
That's just a bunch of like bear iconography as a space.
Oh, instead
chapter.
of like Space Wolves.
Yeah.
More
Space
of like
bears.
is it like a Mother Russia type thing?
No, it's just bears. Like just bears instead of wolf stuff.
I can see that being like they are the Russian descent clan.
Jordan Telemachus wants to know what your model is from.
Conquest.
This is the Fallen Divinity limited edition resin artisan series model.
Oh, Relapse, I see.
Writing that down.
Division Ring says, and now all my stream ads are for Pokemon cards. It hears you. The algorithm hears you. It knows all. Millimeter Matt, I asked on another stream earlier and couldn't get an answer, but does anyone know if Adepticon tickets have gone on sale yet? No.
Don't they go on sale like...
They're about to.
Yeah, pretty soon.
Like pre-sale for classes and stuff, I think happens this month. Generally. It's like mid-November. I know that behind the scenes as vendors, we are now completing all of the stuff that we started at last Adepticon with detailing out if you still want the same size booth, adding more space, doing whatever. I just talked to Shelly on the phone last week. She runs all the vendor stuff. So they are in the machinations of all of that. And then the tickets and stuff, I think, go live very soon. So keep your eye open.
JP, you can go. It's open to the public. You just have to have a ticket.
Avian Baby J classes.
Transportation to the
Baby J
Chicago
classes?
area.
Baby J will teach you everything you ever wanted to know about paint for free. All you have to do is get
Right here.
Yep.
Or just watch the stream all the time.
Yep.
I feel like we do this every day.
We do, yeah. I'm happy to answer questions and teach stuff.
I would love to do like a slushy machine or something, but the place gets really, really horrible about it.
You're not allowed.
You can't vend food or drink
Yeah.
at the Marriott because that's a big chunk of their revenue when they do conventions is food and beverage.
Yeah.
And the hotel food and beverage place, it's all categorically one thing. Now you can rent like the beer cart to come to your booth, but it's a hotel beer cart. You can pay to have it in your booth.
Plus,
so they're making money on both ends.
We don't make anything edible, so that would be very confusing. We're also not qualified.
Professional Paint Licker says, can you kidnap me for Adepticon? I promise not to lick your paint that you bring.
I mean, it's in your name and you're a professional, so how can we
I
trust you?
feel like you should have changed your name before lying to us like that.
Yep.
Relapse said,
lots of
honestly, at this
people.
point, I pay handsomely for lessons and feedback. You know, it's a shame because I used to do one-on-one lessons online at the infancy of our company. It just became too much of a time output,
But
and I
there
felt
are
like
some
I was not
great-
able to give people what they really would benefit from as much.
There are some great painters out there who do that. Like Kenny does that, doesn't he?
Kenny does great
Yeah.
online trainings. He's got his curriculum that he teaches.
Ghost Hunter.
You can probably,
That's
no matter what
cool.
style or influence you like, there are Patreons that give, like, you know, training videos, things like that. One-on-one personal training is usually a bigger deal because you
Yeah.
have to go someplace, you know, to meet with the people. All the conventions ask us if we'll do seminars. And as of yet, we just don't have a really good plan for bringing enough
hard.
people to both man the booth, handle everything
Yeah.
we need to handle, and have someone like Jordan in a class all day.
Because, like, I'm at the booth talking to people about painting from the time that we open until the time that we close.
And that has such a tremendous value for us
Yeah.
to be able to have him there talking to people the whole time.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Now, that doesn't mean that if you don't, if you're at Adepticon or you're at, you know, LVO or any of these shows where we're at with the booth, that you can't come up to me and say, hey, I was really curious on how to do this. Do you have any suggestions? And I can give you a quick demo to give you an idea I can't do like a full-on class, but at least I can, you know, take a look and we can talk about something and I can show you how to achieve it with the, you know, the products that we make. That is something that I can more than happily do.
Division ring seminar seems pretty easy. Buy some of our paint. Watch how better paint makes you hobby time better almost instantly with nearly zero effort. Seminar over.
Wouldn't that be really funny?
Thanks for joining us today.
If we did a seminar that did not have a teacher and it was
No,
just
all it
everybody
is, you sat down, the projector started,
it played an
and
ad.
it said, here are your paints. And we just delivered everybody a set of paints, and then somebody came in and white gloved you a set of paints and then left. And the video went, thank you for your time.
It has to be white gloves. It has to be.
Oh my goodness, that would
So
be
good.
amazing.
No, there's a lot of value to being able to sit with a painter because, you know, as you guys know from watching live streams like this or even video content, a lot of what you need to see is how the brush moves on the model.
Yeah.
The colors you use, I've always said that's an odd question when I see somebody post something amazing and then somebody goes, how did you do that blue? What colors did you use? I'm like, color's irrelevant. You can figure out the colors that are going to look good. You can see the colors that you bought with your eyes because you like the colors. You can pull the colors you want. What you need to see is how and when they chose to move from one color to the next,
Yeah.
if they went from dark to light, and how they move their brush to apply that paint. And if you start looking at the machinations of that, if we want to call it brush control or whatever, just the application of paint, then you start looking and focusing, then you'll see your painting start to elevate tremendously. And that's what being in person with a painter does. And it's great for the teacher to be able to come by and see you and see how you're holding the brush and what might be the problem. I've noticed a lot of people when I teach that will be holding the brush really weird. And if I go in and say, hey, just loosen this up, you know, relax your pinky finger. Like if I can tell everything here for everybody in this chat right now, if you will just relax your, and that sounds really weird to say, but if you will just get used to holding your arm out straight and wiggling it like this so you can feel that your pinky finger is completely relaxed, your pinky finger and the muscle that runs down the outside of your arm have the largest impact to fatigue of your arm and your musculature in your arm of anything else you'll be doing. So if you're sitting there gripping, and a lot of times we don't know it, but when you make a fist, your pinky is one of the biggest leverage points for making a fist. Right? You can curl your pinky up a lot easier than you can your ring finger, and you can get a lot of pressure holding something with it, right? But you'll sit there holding the brush, and you'll tuck your pinky finger up into your palm, and believe it or not, you'll be clenching that without even knowing, right? Because you'll want it out of the way. It's like you're tucking your pinky finger out of the way, and and unintentionally clenching it and causing this muscle to stress, and you'll fatigue your entire hand and get writer's cramp and all of that. So if you can do one thing, you'll notice that when I'm painting, a lot of times I do the dainty, keep my pinky finger out. You may not see it because that's not what's in frame.
You see it a lot when I'm painting because
Yeah, I'll
you
try
say
to
right
balance
here.
it on the model or something
Yeah.
because I've noticed over the years that that's the one thing. I'll clench my pinky finger unknowingly and it'll cause my whole hand to shake. And if I just release the tension in my pinky finger, my whole hand relaxes. So.
Makamaro said, I hate feeling like I just learned new things about my body. Like,
I
feel like
mean-
you should know. You've had it your whole life. You feel like you should know everything about it pretty well.
I mean, there you go. Will you guys be donating paints to Fort Wapple again for Adepticon? We sure do. Yeah, we have a full
lots of
set of our
support for
paints
Adepticon,
that Hank, one of the owners of Adepticon, has, and it's literally for him to paint all of the terrain that they do for all the tournaments that they go to, and for Fort Wapple. That's it. He owns it. We restock it. He said he owes us an order. As a matter of fact, we got to get an order out to him. So
JP,
Yeah.
if I come to Adepticon, do I get a Jason hug?
no way,
Yes, of course.
no way. Have you smelled yourself lately? Not until
Don't
you've
let
been
him
out of the
fool.
house at least 10 times.
He's got a job now, so I'm sure that will happen.
Till he starts bathing and washes the dog off.
Only I could account for all the hair in strange places.
Dog never comes off. It doesn't. That's really crazy.
The wonderful sensation of listening to a TikTok length biology lesson and then being able to feel the back of your eyeballs for the rest of the day.
Adrian said, damn, that hurt all the way over here. I have to take a bath to get a hug? Wait a minute. Maybe this isn't the place
Dog
for
never
me.
comes off. That's true.
We should get like a Cora bed that's right here at camera height with like some stairs. So she should come in here and she could just stand there. She couldn't reach me.
Yes, she
so
would
she'd
have
have
to
to
do that.
lean all the way over. I can't
That
see
would be
anything bad happening from that at all.
Unacceptable.
I can't see a
Absolutely
single bad thing
unacceptable.
happening from having Cora in the office at all.
First of all, you're
I'm on
giving
board
her
with this.
a lot of credit thinking that she would just stand there.
She'd leap onto the table. She'd caution to the wind, Dad.
She'd get tired, she'd lay down for like 10 minutes, and then she would get up and be like, oh, where am I? What's happening? What's going on? What are you doing? Tell me. What's
Can
going
I-
on?
can
I'm
I
But
eat
she's
Laura."
not quiet
model?
when she does that. She's very loud. She would bark at us.
She if I'm ever at home working on my computer, Jason knows this because he does it way more, but if I'm ever home working on my computer, she will come in and she'll lay down for a while, and then if she wakes up and she gets bored, then she is right here in my face, stepping on the keyboard, like, you need to give me attention right now.
I need attention. I need it right now. This is very important.
James DeLay was distracted by a child in distress, but came back to the stream to hear, I have to take a bath to get a hug, and I assume this is someone in chat figuring out human interaction. Oh, goodness. She is about, I don't know, at this point, she's probably close to 70 pounds.
Dog
I
likes
don't
her food.
remember. I took her to the vet not too long ago. I don't remember how much she weighed, but yeah.
She was still 65.
Huh?
She was still 65.
No, I took her to the vet like a month ago.
Yeah, well, you said she was still 65 when we took her in for the hip thing.
I don't remember. One of my dog woos at me if she's not constantly on my lap. Cora's like that probably like 90% of the time. 10% of the time she's like, I'm fine over here by myself.
Finally building up all this red. Now that the skin is mostly in a good spot. Just
Cora
using-
does need training, and here's the thing. We have trained her to be a spoiled brat.
Yes, and she's very good at it. So she's
Very good at
very
it.
good
So
at learning.
She's very trainable.
Very trainable.
Just using a bit of black and bold pyro red here to build up this gradient.
Professional paint liquor said, are you resting your pinky when painting?
On the model, like this. That's my pinky.
Jason's is probably down on the holder somewhere.
Mine's right here,
Yeah.
Oh.
straightened out. And like I said, I am only conscious of it because I have that tension in my hand that builds up as I paint longer and longer. And I had to start saying, okay, this is fatiguing me to a point to where it's not necessarily fun painting. What do I have to do? And I just started saying, you know what? If I just wiggle my pinky and let the joint and the muscle not be so strained, oh my God, my hand feels so much better.
James Meeks, hello.
Hello, James.
Well, how are you? She's 40 pounds, though. That makes it tolerable. If my 60-pound dogs tried that, no way. Cora is our 65-pound lap dog. Groovy said, so took 95% of Monument Pro Acryl with me to paint on my vacation. Painted most of the time. Still want to get whatever I'm missing from the line. Once I can afford to fill it out, I will do so. That's awesome.
Thank you so much.
Fantastic.
That is awesome.
I love it when people take their paint stuff on vacation and paint in
Got a
vacation
really good
spots.
review from the guys over at
I was
Goonhammer.
just thinking about that.
They took the go bag, and it had some great pictures, like at his boathouse.
Oh, was that the lake
Yeah.
Yeah,
one?
yeah.
With the wrong soap.
Yeah, apparently he was using it on the boat.
Very
That's
cool.
what he told me.
Dogs go nuts when you leave the house, like howling, and it's the only time they do it. I like when I have to go back in. They look at me all guilty. Cora, thankfully, is pretty quiet. Unless it's dinner time. Or breakfast time.
And then all
She prays to
bets are
dog when you get her
She-
dinner
she
laid
prays,
out. She starts
yeah,
barking
she's
in her
very
bowl
loud.
like she has to hunt for food.
She yells at it. Jumps around.
She jumps her. She's so funny. It bounces around on all fours.
She's
She's kind of a nutcase.
She's been so we've had her since October of 2020, so almost 3 years, or just over 3 years, and she didn't do it from the beginning.
She was really quiet. We didn't even
She
know
was-
if she could bark or
Yeah,
anything.
she didn't bark. She didn't make a sound for months, probably.
Getting used to us, feeling us out.
Yeah. Yep, at the pool, at the beach, painting stuff with my semi-portable paint kit. Awesome.
Love it. Thank you so
Doorbell's
much for
driving me
giving us a
crazy.
shot.
Omicron, if the doorbell rings on TV, do they bark? My old dogs used to do that. They would bark all the time. We don't have a doorbell at our new house, so.
We don't. That's funny.
No, you don't have a doorbell?
Uh-uh.
I love how you just realized that you didn't have a doorbell, Jason.
No, I know it.
Oh.
Death from Impulsor would like to know how the metallic medium works.
Like a champ. Take any color. I mean, number one, you can use it as it doesn't have a lot of opacity to it, but you can use it as kind of a bright, polished aluminum kind of color, platinum highlight for silvers and such. It gets even brighter than our normal silver does, so you can definitely do that. But its main intention is to be used with other paints to create metallic colors that you might want to use in your projects, right? Like red and whatever, and it works spectacularly, almost like it was made for it, with our transparents. Right, so we have a whole line of transparent paints, 8 colors,
9.
9, sorry, with white. And you can mix them in there and turn the medium into whatever color metallic you really like. Works great.
Game Delay said, follow-up question, was the metallic medium made to work with your transparent paints?
Yeah. Actually, even though it predated the transparent by a year or so.
Was it that long?
I think so, yeah.
I don't remember how we did our paint before the way it is now.
The issue was I was not convinced that we had the transparents right and that they were really as useful as I wanted them to be. So we hemmed and hawed with them for a long time, and then they finally hit the ground running. And like I said, it was funny because it was the exact same time that GW released contrast paints.
So did we have? I'm trying to. What were our sets? Like we had our base set was 1 through 29.
Base set and metallics.
Well, but only
Because
till
they
white
were in
gold.
the base set and expansion set 1. So technically we had base set, expansion set 1, and metallics.
We did
because
not
the
have a
initial
metallic
metallics
set.
came divided up amongst the two sets.
Right. We didn't have a metallic set.
No, that's
They
what I'm
were-
saying. We
yeah.
basically did as the way it is today because it was in base set and expansion set 1.
Right.
5 of them were in the base set, 4 of them were in expansion
Yes.
set 1.
I couldn't remember that there were 4 in expansion set 1.
Yeah, the metallic medium.
I mean, I know what colors they are,
Yeah.
but I just didn't remember them being in expansion 1.
You can never get the contrast to come the way you had envisioned in your head. The transparents will help with that a lot because the first thing you have to think about is that the metallic medium is also a tint base, if you know what that means. It will brighten up whatever color you put in it. So if you want to say you want to make like red metallic, go burnt red into metallic medium and you'll get a better red than if you put bold pyro red. If you put bold pyro red in there, it brightens up bold pyro red to be kind of pinkish. So go with burnt red and a little bit of bold pyro red and put that in the metallic medium and then you get a spot on red metallic. You have to start darker than you think you want because the metallic medium will brighten it up a little bit, right? It's not perfectly clear. It has a brightness because of the metal flake and because of the medium. So it's not quite white, so it won't turn everything into cotton candy color, but it will brighten things up quite a bit. And yeah, it can do a great candy effect because you can glaze it on. You can treat it just like a normal paint. So you can take the metallic medium and you can glaze it over other colors you've done and it'll give you like a pearlescent, well not pearlescent because it won't color shift, but it'll give you like a candied effect. And if you put a spot of color in it and then glaze it on, you can work some amazing stuff. Remember that all of the metallics are just paints. You can use them like you would a normal paint. You can filter with them, airbrush with them, do other things with them other than just mix them and paint with them. You don't have to use them at full opacity. You can pull off some really neat tricks. You can actually paint a model with red, like bold pyro red, and then use the metallic medium and glaze over the top of the red with it and get a metallic feel without ever having to mix the colors too. It won't be as shiny as if you mix the color because there won't be as much metal flake, but it can still give you the feel. How would you mix a metallic gray, James Meeks? Black transparent and metallic medium. You can use black and white transparent to make the gray that you want and then put it into the metallic medium. Boom, gray metallic. You can also just take our dark silver and put some white transparent in it, and that might get you there quicker with less mix time.
Avian, yes, now about 12. Omicron did a pink space marine. It used transparent white, transparent red, and metallic medium to make a pink metallic. Awesome.
Yeah, so metallic medium and green transparent, right? And blue transparent, right? Let's see what we get.
You also
I
pull
only
up.
have a wet palette, so that's what I'm gonna do right now.
You also pull up the gold short that we did about 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. There's a slightly varied version of this where you get like a really deep ancient gold by mixing brown transparent into your rich gold, and you get this really dark brownish gold that's very interesting. You want to go full screen for this?
Yeah.
Tim, are you asking about the wet palette?
When did hell freeze over? I'm using a wet palette today, Tim.
So froze
I
over
caved.
an hour and 49 minutes ago. Technically, about 2 hours ago.
I caved. So, like I was saying, you can just take the metallic medium, right, and you can paint with it. directly. So you don't have to use anything in it, even though it's called a medium. It is still just a paint, right?
And
I'll
Tim,
put a thin layer.
He's doing the challenge palette, the color palette for this month's challenge. So he's keeping them all there so that they're there and he can mix them.
Yeah, I just needed the wet palette is because I've only got 5 colors I'm working with, and I need to be able to mix them in crazy ways, and rather than waiting to put more paint out on my palette, right? So do that on that thumbnail, let that dry. Then I'll come back in and I'll mix some green, transparent, and some blue, transparent over here on the palette. Somebody was mentioning Alpha Legion. I'll make a neat sea foam color. Right, and just that quick, check out this metallic.
Baka, every time he does this, I want him to paint my fingernails. Because it always comes out so nice. It doesn't last very long. It needs a top coat, for sure.
Oh yeah, it comes
chips
off
off
like
pretty
immediately.
easy.
Well, sometimes, depending on the colors I've used and how thick I've gone, it can last till tomorrow's shower, but...
I mean, a lot of the time when you do nails normally, you put a top coat on anyways, right?
Yeah,
Well, there
yeah.
you
That's
go.
not
There's
uncommon
metallic
to put a
medium.
top
Yeah.
coat on.
Right,
I will
right,
give
but
you this
if
hint.
we're
Metallic
trying to
medium is
avoid
the
nail
most
polishes,
expensive paint that
you
we
can't.
make.
You have to
It
have
retails
nail
at
polish.
$6 a bottle, and that is too cheap. We lose money almost on every bottle we sell, but we get it. It's kind of a loss leader. We average it in with the cost of doing everything else, because the metal flake and the medium base, to get that much metal suspended in a paint that actually works and doesn't get chunky, is the magic with metallic medium, because you can paint it nice and smooth, right? Tons of good shine on that, right? Bingo. There you go. Make whatever metallic color you want. Transparents are really the key. You can mix it with normal paints, but obviously the transparents allow the shine to stay without any issues at all, right? And again, this is wet palette. And then let's take and mix that same color close to it. I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this, but try to mix that same color. That's pretty much it, right? So mix the same color just with the transparents. Now, this is not with any of the metallic medium mixed in, but I have the metallic medium on my thumb already.
These are all available products. Nothing he's showing you is new.
And then I can just paint the transparents, just kind of glaze them over the top of the metallic medium. So it gives you a lot of ways to play with it. If you don't feel confident with your ability to like mix consistently, then boom, you can just do something like this. You can go over the top of it. You can airbrush it. You can do whatever you want, but didn't quite get the colors the same. Then they won't be quite the same, because remember, the medium will brighten the color, right? If you mix it in. But if you glaze over the top of it, not so much. So there's a lot of ways you can play. I got really squirrely on that one.
You're very
That is-
messy. No tip.
That is not the one you would hire me to do, right? But I should never do those two. I should do 2 real fingers and not a thumb. Sorry, thumb.
You're saying your thumb's not a real finger?
It's kind of a real finger. It's more of a thumb, but
It's needed.
it just doesn't. I can't get both of them in the screen at the same time because my fingers don't bend that way, right? I need to do just 2 normal nails.
Punisher said, do you use aluminum or mica or both depending on color, and how much of a difference is there even between the two?
Well, there's a big difference. The thing with aluminum is that you can't always anodize aluminum to get a color of flake, right? So mica can come in multiple colors, so sometimes that's easier. Aluminum's more expensive in general. So there you go. You can see mixing it in, good amount of shine, glazing over it, tremendous amount of shine, right? I mean, look at that. That's crazy.
Tim said you can also put the color down first, then use a thin medium over it.
Yeah, that's the other thing I wanted to show. I can't really do that as well with the transparents, but we'll do it anyway. Oh, I don't need that. On the fingernail, the transparents need a primed surface, so this is going to skate a lot. So this probably isn't going to be quite as good as I want it to be. I'm going to go real thin here so that I get some adhesion.
Pixel Hunter, hello. We are not doing a manicure stream. This
And you'll
is
notice that the
actual
transparents are very
paint
matte.
demonstration.
See that? The transparent paint's even instantly dry almost like that. I'm going to try to do this without tearing the base layer. Very
JMJar
gently.
152, thank you for the follow.
But you'll see just how non-shiny these paints are. Just like our normal line of paints. Look at that. Crazy. Knocks the shine off my normal nail almost instantly, right? And this is just blue and green mixed together, by the way. The transparents are great for mixing however you like. Then I can take the metallic medium. Oop, I don't want any color in it. Go up over here. Thin it down. I can glaze with it. Right.
Yeah, Groovy, we're super, super matte. We do have a few colors in our newest signature sets that have a gloss finish and a satin finish. But the satin finish even is not really what you would expect a satin to look like because it's using the base of our paint, which is super matte. But that looks good too. It's just lighter.
Yeah, you can do that, and what it's going to do is let the color as a base, when you glaze over it, you'll get less of the base color, more of the shine of the color on top. So you can mute a color very easily. Again, you'd want to start with a darker color than you really want to have it look right at the end. So burnt red glaze over it, but you can see those are the exact same colors, right, as is this. And you can see 3 different ways to make that paint look, because here we mixed it with, so it lightened it, right, still get a good shine, right? Here we glaze the transparent over it. We get more shine because we let the paint set up and be as completely shiny as possible because we haven't mixed anything with it. Then you can glaze color over the top and get as much shine as you want. Again, the transparents work great for that. And then here, glazing, turning that around. These are kind of the exact same thing in reverse, right? So more of a muted color, but still good shine when you glaze the metallic over the top. And of course, by glazing the metallic, we're going to get less of the metal flake, but you can build that up in layers if you want. You do it with all the colors, reds, oranges, yellows, whatever. They all work exactly the same. Pick a color you like. Somebody had mentioned Alpha Legion, so there you go. Alpha Legion colors, go.
What, Spatsnat, you don't want to walk around with like blue or green fingernails? Don't want to have to explain that?
Darth Maul and the transparent paints are the magic of this whole lineup. They're the most flexible paints that we make, by far. They allow you to do so much clever and cool stuff no matter what you're painting. Right? You've always got something cool you can do with the transparents. Guaranteed.
We've got VODs, Pixel Hunter. Arctic Edge said, so how do y'all feel about being actual modern-day paint wizards?
I am a wizard. I paint miniatures.
If you'd asked me a bunch of years ago, this wasn't even on my bucket list.
Pixel Hunter, it was the metallic medium was the purpose of that whole demonstration. So it's metallic medium, and then he used green and blue transparent and mixed them together and showed the 3 different ways that you can use those products together. So he put down on one fingernail, he put the metallic medium first and let it dry, and then put the transparent over the top of it. On another one, he did a mix where he mixed on his palette transparent and metallic medium.
That's that one.
That's that one. And then he did the third where he painted the transparent
I'm not
going
to flip you off. I'm not flipping you off. I'm not flipping you off.
Painted the transparent first and then put the metallic medium over the top of it.
Yeah, same color used 3 different ways to get 3 different finishes, but all the same 3 paints. I just mixed blue. Somebody mentioned Alpha Legion, so I mixed blue and green together to get that kind of seafoam color. Right? But you can do it however you want. We have the 9 base colors that you would want in the transparent set. All single pigment colors for yellow, red, orange, green, blue, brown, purple, black, and white. Right?
You get your nails did?
You get them nails did?
Yeah.
I pay a lot for this. Don't make fun of me.
Bakamaru said that red Baby J has such an awesome pop, and it does. I just looked up and I'm like, ooh.
On the hood. Yeah, I've been incorporating some of the fluorescent into it to make it really, really...
Yeah, as if
bright.
Pyro red wasn't enough. You put the fluorescent red in and it's like, ooh.
Yeah, you get some
I gotta
really...
go lock up doors.
You go lock up the doors?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Darth Mullen. The transparents make every paint better because you can bump up the color. If you take a blue and it's just not quite punchy enough, put some blue transparent in it. Bam. You take a green, not quite punchy enough, put some yellow transparent in it, and bam, it'll bump it up. If you don't want it to be yellow, you can put the green transparent in it. You can use it for all sorts of stuff.
So I'm using our crimson here, dark crimson, to put some gross blood effects over the belly area with the rib cage. Her skin is so pale that I really wanted to accentuate that crazy midsection. Bringing a little bit of it up on the sides. You create that kind of irritated, bloody flesh. Hi. What's up, Jacob? How was your day?
It's fine.
Mr. Chair Guy?
Was it quitting time?
Oh, yes, sir. Time moves by real fast when you're having fun.
Yes, it does. I have been having fun, I gotta admit.
Alrighty. Let's see here. I'm liking where we're at with this.
Oh, you can come in here.
Let's sit on down.
He's embarrassed.
Paul's too outgoing. Yeah, there we go. That looks like a bloody rib cage. There we go. Whoa, didn't realize Jason was using a wet palette until I read the description.
I'm full of surprises, aren't I?
It's true. James Meeks is asking, are there any new washes coming out?
No,
Not right now.
that doesn't mean that we won't have more. Just not something that we're looking at the moment.
Professional paint liquor. Oh, I do have a question that comes to your mind. Is your paint line, does your paint line have triads? There are some that exist in some fashion, but we have not designed our line in such a way that it is built around triads. So, for example, we have bright jade, jade, and dark jade. And we have some for the warm and neutral grays. So we have a bright neutral gray, dark neutral gray. But those, yeah, we have one for yellow green as well.
You could say mahogany, burnt red.
Yeah, I mean, I would
pretty good one.
even specify that those aren't necessarily, while they work as a triad, they're not.
We don't build in triads. The one thing
Yeah.
you'll notice as you watch us paint is that we don't believe, and this is just a fundamental kind of view of art from us, we don't believe that triads get you there. A lot of times, like you'll see right now, I'm painting these gold trinkets on his belt, right? I'm not using a triad. Triads are they're quick and easy ways for you to learn painting. And so our paint line does have dark and light versions of nearly every color in the line, and our paint line isn't finished yet, so we'll be bringing out more. So if there's a color in the line that may not have a good corollary as a shade and a highlight, it will be coming, most likely. But the thing with painting is that triads don't really give you the interest that I think most of us are looking for. When we paint in miniature, we only have a limited amount of space to tell a story because, well, it's miniature, right? And so what we do is we add interesting colors in. So like my shadow on this is a dark blue, and then I've got a yellow-green base for the gold, and then I'm working in yellow ochre on that, right? And that will make this gold a lot more interesting than dark yellow, mid yellow, bright yellow, right? So our line is designated that way so that the colors are really all meant to work together, blend together very well. Like Jordan said, we do have some that have really good triads built in, like jade, the grays, things that you'll reach at all the time. But it won't be for every color. A lot of colors will have like a shade version and a brighter version, and then you'll mix the two together to get the mid-tone. And that teaches you not only mixing, but other things that you could inject in that mid-tone that might work really well with those colors. So, when can you get flavor profile triads? You're just making stuff up. Those aren't even words. Can't wait for the plaid triad. So you go with light value with your line? Light value? What are you talking about? Value as in darkness? We have dark colors. Chuck the Mead Man, I know we're all putting paint on models. What's the best way to take Pro Acryl off some battle mechs? Like if someone screwed up bad while overwhelmed on a lousy business trip. I just paint over stuff. I don't ever strip models. Yeah, like Punisher says, I'll prime over sometimes, or a lot of times we've done challenges where you take the model and you just make the paint that was already on it. Like if you have, say, an eBay rescue model, just take the paint that was already on it. This guy was completely that, right? I got these orcs off of eBay, and we took them, and I didn't do anything other than paint right over the colors that were there. I didn't prime it, nothing. I used the base colors that were on these models. The skin was orcish green, like normal, and I painted it up with like flesh tones and orangey bases, and the armor was just dry brush blue, and so I turned it into this crazy disco metallic blue armor, and yeah, just painted over everything. So I'm never afraid to say that, you know, like was stated in chat from Punisher, as long as the paint isn't gloopy and covering up details, don't worry about it, just start painting. Now, you may not have colors that you even like, you know, like if I had done this and I said I really want to make my army red, there's no turning this red in a way that's going to work. So I would prime it again, you know. But you can do a very light dusting of primer to just mute the color down and then paint it whatever you want. I'm not a fan of stripping models. It's a lot of hassle and time wasted for what usually doesn't give you a whole lot of benefit, so.
Shadow and light value on model like cloth on the angel miniature. So what about the value?
Yeah, yesterday.
I love Waldo's. Well, you're already my best friend, Waldo's.
Maybe. Yeah.
Says, Jason, your newest paint line has taken the last space on my hobby desk. Do you plan on
release?
releasing more paint so I can convince my wife that I need a bigger desk?
Yeah,
We have the base Pro Acryl range will be 96 colors. And so we are currently at 75.
Oh,
right?
whoops, no.
70,
There we go.
75 or? Yeah,
One more time?
75 because we'll be at 81 once we
have
get
75 right now.
the fluorescence will make us 81. But it's still up in the air as to whether or not we're counting the fluorescence as part of the main range. We'll determine that down the road. But we're at 75 now, so we basically got 21 more colors that'll be coming in the base range. So those are 21 new colors that you haven't seen yet. Well, some of them we have on stream. We've shown off like ultramarine.
Yeah.
Right. We've got ultramarine, just pure ultramarine is coming. We've got
bismuth.
a really good single pigment bismuth yellow that covers like nobody's business. That's coming. We've got a satin black. The satin black might be in a custom set that we have yet to announce. So there are some colors that you've seen already, but most you haven't. The red orange is still yet to come. So red orange and that line will have fleshed out more reds. So there's a lot of really cool stuff still coming.
Yeah, I'm kind
So
of.
you will need a bigger desk. Yes.
Did you see all these stuff that happened while I was gone? Were you guys paying attention?
We caught some of it, but
I think we did most of that.
we did most.
We didn't
of
talk
it.
about tartar sauce.
Did you see the question?
We did that.
Okay.
That's what we've been talking about.
Okay. Stripping a model. Did you see that?
Yep.
Yep,
Talked about that.
Talked about
Okay.
that.
Shadow and light value on model like the cloth on the angel miniature. Professional paint liquor, you say you mean that's what your coloring is going off of? Value? I mean, obviously value is the brightness of a color, right? So, yes, that's what triads are, different values of a central hue generally when we talk about it that way.
And technically, I am creating triads to an extent with this because I'm just
Critical
mixing
Falcon,
black
thank you.
into the red to make this color. But I'm adding fluorescent red on top of it, and I'm not really going to highlight it much more than what it is now. And I'm going to add some other color to it as I bring it back down and darken it up a little bit. I'm going to add a little bit of jade, like some cool jades to it.
Ghost Hunter, believe it or not, eclectic salmon will be a color. We won't call it that, but we are coming out with the colors that came out in the range, the red orange and the eclectic salmon style color that were the things that we used to highlight and do the Blood Angels, because it just is such a great range for doing red and making red highlights easy without getting too pink, right? So we're able to create some really cool colors. So both of those are on deck for being new colors. People, so when can you expect them? My plan is to have the line completed in 96 colors by the end of next year. I don't have timing for those. We've got some other things coming out. Fluorescents are coming out. The subtractive wash is coming out, the not an oil wash that we've been showing you. Somebody asked about what is this new wash that people are talking about. It is a replacement for oil wash that's all non-toxic water-based acrylic. This is it after it's dried. We took this brightly airbrushed mech. I did 2 of them, kept one of them undone, and one of them we put the warm brown wash over and then dry brushed it with pale yellow. Right, so just to get a really quick tabletop model done, you know, take it, spray it with a rattle can, put the not an oil wash on it, and then dry brush it, and you can get some really good stuff worked up super quick.
Why do Jacob and Paul look like they're in 2 different places?
Something about the camera settings. The one, like Paul's camera works and Jacob's camera is not set correctly.
We've got hot and cold over here.
It's unfortunate they're using webcams, and those webcams forget their settings every time the computer updates and stuff like that. So
Oh, wow, okay.
Gabe just needs to take a look at it.
All right.
Will
Are
we
you
make
gonna
an
keep going, or are
all
we-
the
Nope,
paint
we're done.
line in one
Cool.
set for Christmas?
Huh?
What's that?
Professional Paint Liquor said, will you make an all of your paint line in one set?
It is on the table right now to make an all-in set. Yes, so that you could just one-click buy everything.
But it's only
Everything
8
within
clicks.
reason. All the normal colors. We can't put all the primers and everything in there because we don't want to burden it that much. But yeah,
Adding the primers and stuff is easy enough to tag on. But
Buying the
definitely
sets
getting-
individually is easy too.
but yeah, you can buy it.
There's
You
10
can
of
buy the
them
entire
now.
line by buying 10 sets right now. You just go in and click add to cart on 10 things. The way we do our sets, they contain all of our colors.
Don't get the starter paint set. That one has
Yeah, except for the starter
duplicates.
one. It's just a custom collection for people that want to test the paints, and it has brushes.
Our
But
base
everything
Probably
set
out of
and
stock right
all
now.
of
Oh no, it might be back in stock right now. Yeah.
our base set and all of our expansions are all unique individual colors, so you're never going to get a
Yep.
duplicate as it currently stands.
Fordo, thank you for the follow.
Thank you,
Everyone,
everybody.
that's it. We're out of here. We're stream 2 to 4 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, which is Arizona time, here in the U.S., 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, same time all the time. We changed our schedule up this week, so it's much easier to catch up with us. You get 5 chances during the week to come hang out, ask us some paint questions, see us sling some paint, use Pro Acryl, put it through its paces every single day. So would love to see you back here as often as you can make it. Thank you so much for spending some time with us. Hit those links that Jen just put up there, the FLGS and the store. Will get you access to our products either directly from us here at Monument Hobbies or find a retailer near you. We've got over 200 retailers here in the U.S. And retailers all over the globe and distribution everywhere. So you should be able to find it no matter where you are in the world. Also, make sure to join our Discord. We've got a bunch of artists just like you hanging out and having a good time. It's a great community. Come and hang out, ask questions, see what's going on, get the latest updates.
The Twitch page.
What's that?
I thought you said you updated the Twitch page.
It is updated.
That time is correct for Pacific. Is it?
No.
Yeah, if
No,
you're
it's-
Pacific, that would be... No, that wouldn't
No,
be.
it would not be right.
No, that would not be right.
The 6 is not right.
Yeah, it's not correct. Right now, the schedule on Twitch is correct. Both the schedule and then the Twitch schedule tab should have it on the calendar at the same time all the time. I'll go back and check it again, but yeah, it was right. It was right today and yesterday and Monday when we did it. So 2 p.m. Have a wonderful night. Stick around for the
everyone.
raid. Show some love in the chat we wind up in, and we will catch you back here mañana.
Much love.
Adios, gang. We're out of here.
Bye.
Bye-bye.